Hello listeners and fellow Game Pass fans, get yourself set and ready for your favourite unofficial Game Pass podcast, Game Pass News. So I'll hand you over to Nick and Sean and get the show started.
Welcome to Game Pass News, recorded live Tuesday, January 17th, 2023. I'm Nintendo, one half of the awesome GPN crew. Mr. Sean Abbott, the Biscuit Lord from across the pond, is the other half. This week, sharing is caring. We chat about Family Pass rumored to be coming to the Direct. We'll see if that actually happens. Why so many performance modes on console? And how on earth can you rack up so much Gamerscore in 1 month? You better sit down, buckle up, because Game Pass News is one crazy ride. That is our intro music for the week. Sean, do you know what game that's from?
Is it the original Skate?
Holy crap! Skate. 2 weeks in a row, ladies and gentlemen, he nails it! Out of the park! Grand Slam! Okay, so a little... Hail Mary! I can do all these things. Hole in one!
Back of the net.
That's right.
That's an American. That's
English. I was going to say, way to pick up the football. Way to go.
The football. A little bit of honesty there is Nick accidentally pressed a button before we went live, and I got a 2-second snippet of the song, so I've had it in my head before we started, so I had some time to think about that one. But yeah, it's a good song. It's a good game. Go play it. If you've got Game Pass and you listen to us, go play it. It's a fantastic skating game. Really revolutionized the whole skate simulator thing to the point where, Tony Hawk's got basically bashed out of the business.
Yeah. I was going through, and as I was telling you, it is getting difficult to be like, I'm like, what am I gonna play now? What am I gonna grab? And I was going through it, and I was like, skate, like Sean loves skate. How have I not done this for him yet? I can't believe it. Felt bad, so I was like, all right, we gotta put that on there. So, and luckily we don't monetize this crap because I'm sure we are totally like flagged now because, but that's okay. It was fun.
Hey, if the creators of that song want to email us and complain, I'll take that because that's great.
It'll be your badge of honor.
At least we'll be noticed.
That's right. I can appreciate that. Sean,
How have you been doing?
Oh, me? You're gonna go to me? Whoa! You just totally flipped the script. How did that even happen? You blew my mind. I don't even know how to go now. Okay, I'm doing good. I am about tomorrow morning. By this time tomorrow, hopefully, I will be an official remote pilot is what they call that, a drone pilot for lightweight drones, not like anything really huge.
Do you have a pair of aviator sunglasses?
You better believe I don't. I need those like the Psychonauts thing. I need the Psychonauts glasses. Yes, that's exactly what I need. I'll be ready to go. That's taking yourself amazingly seriously. Yeah, I should walk into the test center with like a bomber jacket with like wings on the with like Top Gun
Maverick
shades
written across the back. With a song playing on your phone and you stood there.
That's right. That's what I'm going to do. Like, you talk about taking yourself way too seriously. Yeah, so I have been putting in a mad amount of hours on that. But I'm trying to study for that because, it's not super costly, but it's not cheap. So I don't want to have to do it twice. So.
Yeah, it's definitely a one and done type deal. You don't want to have to do it again.
Yeah, exactly. I want to move on from this too. Like I was telling you, I have been like, I've been studying. I want to be done with the studying so I can like play some Xbox games because as you'll find out, I have been doing a lot of that. But so that's consumed me pretty much and my week. So, but you went on a go-kart thing, Jigger. How'd that go? 100 laps or something like that, right?
Yeah. So Saturday after we last recorded last week on Thursday. I got Friday off to kind of chill out a little bit. And then Saturday we went and watched Hot Wheels Monster Trucks Live, which was fantastic. Another great show from Mattel and the Hot Wheels team. It was great.
Amazing.
This year was all like a glow party. So there's like all the monster trucks had LEDs up the side and stuff like that. And they dimmed all the lights right down, loads of smoke, lots of stuff like that. And it was great. It was fantastic. Logan really enjoyed it. We got to meet the team. So that was really cool. We met Freddie Shepherd, who's like Mattel's announcement kind of deal. He's like the face of Monster Trucks Live in terms of talking about it. We met Julian Manon, who's a fantastic French freestyle motocross rider. Got to meet him backstage, and like Logan get to give him a fist bump, and Logan went around with his little VIP pass, and he's getting all these signatures off people. It's fantastic. He had an absolute killer of a time.
Yeah, he looked like he was like amazed. I mean, like the pictures were awesome for sure.
So, and then Saturday night after like I left them in Manchester, so I left them. They were like Manchester's almost hour and a half to hour and 45-minute drives away, and I just left my wife and kid. I just left them in Manchester. They got the train back because Lindsay wanted to do a bit of shopping and kind of expand their day out, which is really cool. And then I kind of dashed home, had a quick bite to eat, and then my friend Gareth picked me up, and we went and did 100 laps of go-karting around this really cool outdoor track in a city. It's like an hour away from me. It was fun. It was great. The track was half wet, half dry, so that made it really interesting. There were lots of sideways action, lots of drifting around, things like that, and lots of incidents, as I like to call them.
That's right. So Seth is amazed with the real news, by the way. Seth Sturgill's here, by the way. Thanks for joining us, man. That's right. Sean has a husband. There you go. That's the real news with the Game Pass news. There it is. So did you? How many people were racing all at one time?
There was 18 people in total.
Okay.
And it was done on the first person to get to 100 laps. Then like the checkered flag came out, and then it was I think it was the amount of laps you completed put you in a position going backwards. And I'm not proud of my position of 16th out of 18.
Wow. I'm a little shocked, Sean. That's crazy. I mean, I would have been 18th, so whatever, but you know.
I did spend maybe 6 or 7 laps stuck in a barrier.
Oh no.
Well, not just one barrier, several barriers. There was one corner that you like I said, the track was half dry, half wet. So the back side of the track was kind of like you went through 2 big puddles. You slowed right down for a hairpin, went through 2 massive puddles, and then the carts were just carrying the water around the back half of the track. So you came down this really long straight with a slight chicane into a really, really fast right-hander, and I couldn't get it right because sometimes like the cat would grip and it's fine. You could send it, cut the corner a little bit and like go full send. And then other times I'd do exactly the same line, but the wheels would still be wet or I'd carry too much water with me, like from behind another cat. And the cat would just start sliding. And 2 of these times, like I took like a heavy hit, like to the point where my feet were coming out the cat spun around, bounced in the air. And so like I was feeling pretty sore Sunday. I struggled at work. Yeah. So but it was fun. I enjoyed it. I'm going to definitely do it again. They run a similar event every Saturday, but it's just 50 laps. Nice. So when I get Saturday evenings off and we haven't got anything planned, I'm going to go and do that.
Did you do this membership thing? You were talking about doing a membership. Did you pull the trigger on that?
I haven't done it this month. Because where we went the other night, it was £50 for 100 laps, which is really, really cheap. Okay. But we were going to do the membership thing last month, sign up for it. But we kind of figured that by the time we paid the £35 for the membership, then paid another £40 for just like half an hour of go-karting. If we combine that, we just might as well go and do 2 hours of it and kind of have a really good time. So we did that instead.
Gotcha. And that is Sean Horizon right there. It's the Sean Horizon 4. free on Game Pass.
Yeah. I was pretty quick. I think the fastest time was 55 seconds, and like on my fastest lap, I was maybe 2.5 seconds behind him. So which wasn't too bad. I weigh too much. The issue I was having is like when the cat started to lose too much speed from sliding, like on the wet parts of the track, it was then taking me a while to pick up speed. So like I really need to I need to shift some timber. I'm down to like 97.5 kilos, so I need to maybe lose another 8 kilos.
You're like a
somewhere
jockey,
in the
you know,
running.
those like skinny little guys on horses. You're like, I need to lose some more pounds so I can go, you know, there you go. Hey, Seth, I'm right with $2 Hero. It's still cooler than any way I spend my weekends. I could not agree any more with you, man. I went to a kids soccer game and Cracker Barrel. So, you know, there you go.
This weekend we are taking it easy. I haven't it's been non-stop since the 27th of December for me. I have not had a day where I could just switch off. So we've got all the kids at the weekend. We have no plans. They have been told all the arts and crafty stuff that they got for Christmas. Hammer that, because that's what we're doing. We're stopping at home.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're both pretty tired because obviously while I'm at work, Lindsay runs around after all the kids. So she's as tired as I am.
For sure, man. For sure. I get that. And I love the arts and crafts stuff. I just made a witch last night out of string and little fuzzy balls with my daughter, and it was actually and a straw. Very fun. Absolutely loved it. I don't know.
I need to see pictures.
I'll send.
The items that you've described, I cannot imagine how you'd make it.
I know. And there was a little felt involved too to make the pointy hat. So and the colors are all my daughter. I don't want to take any credit for that. That was all her. But anyways, this is enough about soccer and go-karting and all that fun stuff that we did and are doing. It is time to chat about our events. Do you have anything any updates on our achievement hunters?
I do, and I'm absolutely shocked. There has been a lot of chatter about this in the background, and we're going to try and cover a little bit this evening about this, and maybe going forward after this month's, we might have to tweak a few changes because you guys are killing it out there. I mean, I cannot believe the amount of Gamerscore people are racking up in a month. It's unreal. So first place is still Carnage and hold your hats for this one, 83,925 Gamerscore, which is just crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
And we'll talk about this in the top stories a bit, folks.
Yeah, rolling in second is Aragon with 35,800. Third place is Freddy 29. Freddy 29 with 7,600, and then we've got Sub Average Gamer with 2,100. The Goobler King, who's doing pretty well at 1,410, and then it trails down Avoix 910. Sorry if I'm not saying that right. Hambone Johnny 705. Acid TK, who was a late comer to the pie, but he's there at 470. Mr. Timothy Olf with 205. And Ninja Lunchbox with 60. So we've got 10 people. 10 people.
Seth has asked a very poignant question, and this is the reason, Seth, why we're going to have a conversation about this in top stories. No, that is the amount of Gamerscore that they have racked up in the month of January 2023. So Sean and I and some of the other community went on a little hunt to figure out how we do this, and we're gonna have a little conversation about Gamerscores and Xbox and all fun stuff like that, which we will get into right about. All right, Sean, we have it on the bottom of our list, but we're here. I mean, it'd be silly to be like, well, let's talk about all this other stuff first. So let's just jump right to the Achievement Hunters investigation. I feel like it's a Dateline episode. So I don't know, lay it out for him, man.
So we did some deep digging. There was a nice somebody shared a video. I think it was Ninja Lunchbox, I believe, Mr. Justin Lance. We shared the video on Discord about how you could easily rack up 100 Gamerscore within 30 days. Easy, 100,000 Gamerscore in like 30 days. You can do this. There's a list of games in this video. I think there's like 55 games because you could play them on PC and you can play them on console, and it racks them up twice. So it's like doubles the amount of games. And like they'll pop you 1,000 to 5,000 Gamerscore per game. So 55 games. That's an easy 55,000 Gamerscore. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Play those games. These games are anything from 10 minutes to 2 hours to 3 hours long. Perfectly legit to do it. The games were made for this reason. There was a big boom back in the Xbox 360 era where people were just chasing this Gamerscore, and I have no idea why. I was big into Xbox during the 360 era, and
Me too.
I it was just something I had friends that were doing it that were really big into it, and they were like, "Hey, I played this game and this game, and I got this much, and I got this," and I'm like, I just played this because I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, right.
And I'm not aiming for achievements. I'm just playing the game. But yeah, there is a legitimate way. So there's all the low hanging fruit, all the Peppa Pig games in the world that you can get your hands on. That's the legit way of doing it. And then there was a deep, dark hole of scalping and cheating the system, where there's lots of different ways of doing this. You can load in APKs via a piece of software which puts command lines in, which basically you just launch the game, cracks the game code to the point where within 5 minutes you can just rattle through all the achievements. It just triggers them off. Sometimes you don't even have to get past the title screen. You just load the game. That's up, crazy. Sit there and wait. And so there's that way of doing it. There's glitches where you can use other save game profiles from other accounts, and you just share that information, and it goes along, and you just load it onto your console. It fires off all the achievements for your profile. It's called a save game glitch, or save game glitch. And then what else was there? We talked about the cracked mods and stuff like that. And then the statistics, you can do statistic sharing. So you don't share the game data, you just share the statistics of you playing that game with somebody else. And that also will then you load those statistics into your profile, and that triggers all the achievements off as well. I don't want to go into too much detail on that because obviously I don't abide by that. I think for the sole purpose of if that's your thing, are you chasing Gamescore and you're doing this, that's great. Just please don't bring it here, because we're running a competition for people who for fun, for playing games. It's not just somewhere to come and dump a load of Gamerscore for me.
Sean's getting salty over here. I take a little bit of a different tact. I mean, it's fine. Listen, we didn't set any rules. We didn't set any rules on it.
No, we didn't.
So
no.
it is what it is. We're gonna go by the rules we had for this month. Sean and I are gonna powwow a bit for next month though, and probably change some things up a bit, and try to figure that out. Hey, we got support from Horror Acolyte, hope I'm saying that right, is now following us. We appreciate that. So listen, I'm totally good with it, and we will, what's up, man? And we will put our heads together and try to figure it out. But yeah, if you want to chase these things, that's cool. I do think it's a little you're gonna, when you start getting into these these save glitches you're talking about and all this. But if you want to play the Peppa Pigs, the Hannah Montanas, these 30-minute games, and they've loaded in these scores, then that's built in and that's fine and that's great. You've legitimately earned the score they've given you, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But
when we say we're going to make changes, when you say we're going to make changes, it's not going to be I don't know how you want to do this. We're not going to change you can only play certain games. No. It's still going to be very open to all the different games.
Yeah.
We might just put a cap on the amount of Gamerscore for entries and change maybe some figures behind how much Gamerscore gets you how many entries. We need to look at that, because at the moment, we've got a crazy amount of entries. It's into the 86,000s.
That's right. Yeah, the last thing Sean and I want to do is be like your mom of gamers going like, that game doesn't count because it's too short. No, we are definitely not getting into that. Let's suck all the fun out of this contest in one fell swoop. No, we're not doing that.
Also, reducing the amount of entries makes it a lot easier for us to kind of deal through. Your probability of winning is exactly the same, because you still have the same percentage of entries and stuff like that for your score, just on a different basis. But it just makes it a lot easier to handle, because trying to count that many, our random wheel generator might not handle.
Well, you're not wrong. If we hit 6 digits, then I am going to have to find a new number generator, because the number generator I currently use only goes up to 99,999. So which probably won't be that difficult to do. I'm just saying we've hit that level of insanity. I never thought that would even be a thing.
But it's
Yeah,
Seth's pointing out his lifetime game score is 120,400, like
yeah,
which is almost double mine. Like I have been in the Xbox game for like 16, 17 years now. Same account, never changed it. Used the same email address, same gamer tag, and I'm only at 70 odd thousand. So it tells you like
yeah.
how crazy that number is.
Yeah, that's why, like, I don't know. It was last week when you were like, "Yeah, we got somebody at 50,000." I was like, "Oh man, come again, come again, John."
Yeah.
What do you speak here?
So
Yeah. All right. So that is our deep dive into achievement scores. And I cannot wait to see when we do this contest run how many numbers I'm gonna have to put on my random generator. It's gonna be absolutely insane, and I'm here for it. So moving on, it wouldn't be a good week without a rumor to the developer direct. The rumor be now that Xbox Game Pass Friends and Family is going to be dropping to more countries, possibly even the U.S., and maybe it'll be a silent drop on that day, and that, my friend, would get me super excited, and I think it would get the Xbox community super hyped. So
I can't see it being a silent drop. They're gonna sing and dance about this. This is like, you can't do a silent drop.
Well, a silent drop might not be like a silent drop isn't probably the right word. I'm sorry. Like an out now type thing. Like they're gonna sing and dance about it all the developer direct, and then they're gonna be like, and out today. That's what I mean. Not like silent, like they don't talk about it. My bad. That was the wrong terminology. I take it back.
But yeah, this would help me. I'm paying for 2 lots at the moment anyway. So all I do is I just turn around to my dad and my brother and be like, "Hey, you want to go far ways on this? Like you two guys get in, me and Jay get in. Hopefully it's going to be like £21, £22 a month.
I mean, it's said it's going to be super cheap. I just don't understand how they're making it the price they are, but I'm down for it. I would love to have Noah on it so that we could play some of these games. And we could do some like Minecraft stuff and all that jazz. So he says we might be seeing it soon. How does it work? Well, the plan allows 5 family members and friends to share the cost of Xbox Game Pass for €21.99 a month in Ireland.
Yeah, which is roughly the same as £22, $21, somewhere around that. I don't know the full exchange rate at the moment, but
yeah, that's crazy to me. I don't know, man. But I'm like I said, I'm totally here for it. I'm excited about it. I hope it does happen. I'm getting kind of pumped for this developer direct. And I mean, I think they've done a good job to say, hey, listen, it's going to be 40. I think they've pared it down to 42. It's the last number I heard. 42 minutes. These are the games. Like they're very specific about like, listen, this is what you're going to see here. I don't think we're going to see a lot that they haven't told us. I think they're doing the best they can to be like real transparent so that people aren't like, and Starfield's going to be here. In fact, they've done so much to come out and say Starfield ain't going to be here. So they don't want the hype to try to, just explode. So they're trying to be like, listen, this is what you're going to get. Don't get too excited that you're going to see some crazy like stuff like Fable 3 coming out or the next Fable coming out like right now. You're not going to see that. But we're gamers, so it's too late. It's too late.
Yeah.
People are
soon as some. I mean, you mentioned a Nintendo Direct, and the whole entire world goes nuts. I'm like, yeah, there's going to be a new Mario game, right. Metroid Prime 4, and it's like, yep, okay, this just happens.
Yeah, and Seth says love that they're setting expectations and that Starfield gets its own dedicated show. I agree. I think they've done a really good job, especially because they came out so early with it, right? I mean, Nintendo's taking the tact now of keeping everything on wraps, but really not giving you much time to get hyped for it. They're basically like, hey, I mean, 48 hours is actually a good amount of time for them nowadays to give you for directs. So to come out 2 weeks early, and I don't know that they really wanted to come out 2 weeks early, but there was the leak from, I think it was Windows Central, that said, hey, we think this is a thing. We're almost certain that this is a thing. And so then a couple days later, I think Xbox was like, we pretty much just should spill the beans at this point. So
they can kind of look things like that though. You can also PR that leak.
that's
Like
true.
I have a very fair belief that a lot of things that are leaked are PR leaked to kind of test the waters of how excited people are going to be, and then you announce the real news, and people are like, "Oh yeah, it is a real thing," and people jump on it like hype train for it. So.
Well, and that's why I go to Windows Central. In fact, I released this in the he hasn't been here for a while. That's unfortunate. Sorry. I released this on Discord, and John gave me some crap about, here comes the hype, and I was like, yeah, but it's Windows Central. So, like, I don't know, they say they're not affiliated, but when it comes to rumors, sometimes it just seems like they got the right. They have something that like some in that other places don't have. I don't know what that is, but anyways. So I'm excited to see what that is about. We will be live streaming that 42-minute. Sean and I will be here at Game Pass News on Twitch and YouTube. So come and hang out with us, join us, and chat some Xbox. Next thing, Sean, that I wanted to chat about is performance modes on consoles. Now listen, I'm a dedicated old person, and I have said numerous times, but I just like, I'm not used to them on consoles. Like that was like the thing for, if you're a console gamer, they were on PCs, but that was like a PC thing, And now like I'm scrolling through pure Xbox to find like, what's up, what's new, what's hot, what have we missed, and it's like literally almost 4 articles in a row. Find the performance modes on Hogwarts Legacy. What are the performance modes going to be on Atomic Heart? Dead Space tells us about their performance modes, and it's just like, man, like I don't know, it's just crazy. And you got to choose between do you want more solid refresh rate, or I don't know, better graphics, or I don't even really know what some of these things are, to be honest with you. But and I don't even choose, to be honest. Like when I play any one of these games, I'm probably not going to touch whatever the default is probably what I'm going to leave it on, because I don't really care. It's going to look fine to me no matter what. I don't have an eye for this stuff.
I think that is not going to be an easy thing for you to do, because I have a slight feeling that these are going to be questions that the game asks you as you start the game.
I'm gonna fail.
So
I'd rather take my drone quiz than I'm gonna sweat and be like, Sean, what do I have to choose? I have no idea. I'm gonna be DMing you. I'm guarantee you, if that's the case.
Yeah. So it all comes down to like what system you're on. So I mean,
and I'm on
myself,
the baby system. We all know that. Yeah, you're on the daddy system, and I'm on the baby system. We know this. Okay.
So because like I say, I'm on the X, so I will go for probably performance, because I don't like jittering in the game. Which, if for you on the Series S, go for performance. You want it so it's taking up as little graphical time as possible, and the game kind of rolls.
Mm-hmm. Go for graphics until my S starts to smoke, and then flip it over to performance.
Yeah. But like he says, Seth's exactly the same. He goes performance over graphics every time. Personally, I play primarily on Nintendo, so basically everything on the Xbox looks amazing to me. So yeah, and I'm exactly the same.
Seth, I feel the same way.
You can't beat playing a high resolution game through an Xbox. Everything looks fantastic. Like indie games on Xbox look brilliant. We got Tunic on the Xbox looks a million times better than it does on the Switch. So it's just how it runs. But yeah, I go performance over like graphics every single time. I hate stuttering in games. I don't want to like be running through somewhere and all of a sudden like the graphics, I'm running further than the graphics are loading and stuff like that, which doesn't happen very often on the Series X, but it has done. Like when I tried to play Cyberpunk on the 1S before I kind of completely gave up, I went and found all the performance modes, turned everything down as much as possible, just so I could just play the game. So, yeah, I'd go performance over graphics every single time.
All right.
Unless it's like a narrative style game where it's a bit slow paced and you're reading a lot of chat and you want to see the expressions on people's faces more, then go for graphics. So
That's what I'll do. That's what I will. That's if I get all these stupid questions, that's how I'll answer them all. Um, it doesn't really bug me. I just like to act like I'm like it does. It doesn't bug me that much, but it was nice when you had the console and you just put the game in and the game just did what the game was supposed to do, right? And you didn't have to like make a choice. It just was what it was. And maybe it's better. Now we have a choice that we didn't have before. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't have the answer to the question, but I do notice it a lot more.
I mean,
Anything else?
for the games that we've got listed here,
Yes.
Hogwarts, I'm going to go performance over graphics because flying around on the broom, you are going to run into graphical issues really quickly. Atomic Heart, fast-paced first-person shooter, performance over graphics. Dead Space, how the original one played, it was quite a slow-paced third-person shooter. So Dead Space, I could go for graphics over performance because of the game type, how fast the game plays. But I could adjust that depending on if I run into any difficulties. So,
and Seth is totally right. He's back in my day, man. I'm cranky Konging the crap out of this. That's what I'm doing. So yeah, I know I said moving on, but I just thought of it. Do you think this? And I'm kind of tuned into Xbox. Obviously, it's not a thing on Nintendo. You only got one choice, for the most part. And so I don't know what's going on over in the PlayStation world for the most part. Like, is this an issue because the two SKUs are so far apart? We've had discussions of like developers talking about like, oh, that S can be hard to develop for. Like, is this exasperated or getting more attention because of these two SKUs and they're so and they're far apart where the developers are like bringing up the difficulty it can be, you think?
I think for us as an Xbox podcast, yeah, we're only seeing it because, like you said, the two SKUs is two completely different. If you want to go break it down graphically, two completely different systems, the S versus the X. One, like the S will handle performance quite well, where with lower end graphics or lower resolution, not as much ray tracing, 30 frames a second, up to 60 quite well, where the X will run 60 frames a second with ray tracing quite happily. We'll do that with every now and then some jit that might just happen because it's loading data, it's doing this at the same time. It might suddenly just start an update in the background all at the same time. So there's stuff happening everywhere.
Yeah.
But I think you're going to have similar issues. You're going to have similar options on the PlayStation. I think this is coming across the consoles altogether. Most games now aren't made for consoles. They are made for gaming PCs that can handle everything. So
yeah, on the Nintendo side, it'll be interesting to see if this is something that they end up facing when that Switch Pro does come out, whenever that is, be it this year, next year, whenever. If this is then something that they're going to have to start facing to get games on both SKUs, if that's what they want to do. So I'll be interested.
I mean, I think this is why we don't see bigger games from consoles coming to the Switch because they'll never. I can't say they'll never handle it because the Switch has come a long way since the Wii kind of era where you could only have 720. You can now have
you mean the Nintendo
Switch.
Yeah.
So,
no,
they've still got some catching up to do, but yeah, I can see even at their level they're going to be like, well, you could have a better graphical game at what we can manage and what we can churn out for you, or you can play performance wise. So
yeah. All right, now really this time moving on for honest truth. The Tunic publisher is concerned about subscription services. He says in the article he's worried that these subscription services might get so big with AAA games that it will push out indies. And now, Sean, before I say my piece or what I think, I'm interested what you think of that take.
I don't know. Finji needs to be really careful with what he's saying because, like, he made a fantastic game. Finji published a fantastic game from Andrew. Brilliantly, such a beautiful game, played so well, made you really think and go back to, for me anyway, my gaming roots of having to, draw things down, write things, make notes, reference the instruction booklet all the time. But he also that game got
By the
picked
way,
up
it's a
and released quickly.
Finji CEO is a she, just so you know. I don't want to get any crap for that.
I thought it was just a company. No,
I'm just letting you know who is. I'm just letting you know who is speaking, just in case somebody says actually to you. So.
Okay. So the publisher. I'll just go that way because it's easy to remember. Because I was only saying he to reference Andrew.
Gotcha.
The publisher's going to be careful because they. It was released early on Game Pass and was really well received to the point where people who have a Switch were really excited for the game to come to that and probably got picked up and purchased in that way. So it did a really good job. I can't see the amount of big AAA games coming to the subscription services overshadowing indies because there is a huge following for indies. I know like the Western market has the Eastern market has a massive love for indie games, the small developers, because they bring out so many quirky different games that you don't get from big AAA people. They kind of hit the same stuff over and over again, with the occasional tweak to do something different. But indies push, they really push the limits of what games can do and what game styles can do. Like as told with Chip, I agree with that. They took a really simple top-down 2D, top-down 3D kind of game and really pushed the boundaries and made you really go back to making notes. Some people didn't like it because it was making them think too much. Some people really, like myself, absolutely loved it because it made me think a lot. They just need to. I can understand why they're saying it. Indie developers and publishers are probably worried because it's like, hey, we still want to get noticed. But ID at Xbox, like they are there for indie developers and indie publishers to get noticed. So Xbox aren't going to drop ID at Xbox. They made a big song and dance at them during the summer showcase, gave them a full section to themselves, even went back and did the whole developer chat kind of 3-hour-long video for that, like stream for them and them alone, because they know how important the indie developers are to the gaming community and the whole realm of gaming. So because you got to remember things like Doom, Quake, excuse me, Duke Nukem, your old first person shooters all came from small developers. Doom was originally made by 4 people in a dorm room, I believe. I can't remember the name of the software that they used, but
I kind of agree with Hambone here. I think that he says, by the way, if Xbox pulls a couple more 2022s, indies will be just fine. But even if they don't, like, you're not gonna fill the Xbox community air enough with first-person big titles that it's going to push indies all the way out. That's going to be too expensive. They're not going to ever be able to drop that amount of indies. So even if we get what I would call the sweet number of like 4 first-party titles a year on the regular for the next 3 to 5 years, which I think is a great number of first-party titles. I don't think you can complain about that number. There's still going to be gaps that have to be filled, and they're going to have to be filled by something. And the best thing to do it with is high quality indie titles. It just makes the most sense. It brings me back. All the games we talked about. It's what we talked about in December, which is, hey, listen, what Game Pass learned through this shitty year for Xbox is that Game Pass can survive with just really awesome indie games and grabbing a couple bigger titles from other companies here and there. I don't think it's ideal. It's not how I want to see Game Pass continue on continually, but it can. And so I just don't see indies being pushed out in subscription services. I see them being in those lull points. The thing is, and I don't know how much control they have over this, the thing is getting their game to come out in a lull point, not to be like, Starfield's coming out in May, and not that it's coming out in May, I'm not saying that, but Starfield's coming out in May, and you know what? We're going to drop your indie game on May 4th, 3 days later. that's a shitty situation. That's where I think Xbox needs to make sure they treat their indies with respect and not do something like that. You got to wait until there's that lull point in between those big games where they can take the time to get noticed. And I think that's the most important part. There's always going to be lull points in these subscriptions. They're not always going to be filled with big top tier games. You're sticking around for, you might be sticking around for those big top tier games, and maybe you're not. Maybe you're sticking around for the indies. I would love to have like a real good poll and ask, hey, listen, if you got 4 really cool first party titles on Xbox this year, would you be more likely to be sticking around for those 4 big titles, or the 6, 8 smaller, quirky, fun, creative indie games? Like what would you be? What are you more excited about? So I don't know.
Personally, if like the team behind Tunic went and made a sequel to that, I would be more excited for the sequel to Tunic than I currently am for Hogwarts Legacy, Atomic Heart, Dead Space, Starfield. I'd be like, yep, that's all I'm going to play. I'd quite happily say that, hand on heart. So, but yeah, like I agree with Seth makes a really good point. He says, I'd love to know what the compensation model is for an indie dev publisher when your game is put on Game Pass. That I would love to know that. Like I would love to have somebody on that could answer the question of this deal with this game. What can you tell us figures wise, or can you like do a retrospectively? Can you talk about it and say game X that could do this, this, and this? We would pay this much into them. Like I'd love to know that. With that kind of information is impossible to find.
Yeah, it's not impossible. I mean, we've had conversations about this. So we've chatted about it. Phil's talked about that these deals are catered to what Xbox feels it's worth and the dev and publisher want. Sometimes that's a lot of upfront money. Sometimes that's more based on downloads and playtime. So he's had that broad conversation about it. But yeah, we don't know specifics on like, hey, what did Tunic specifically get and how did they structure that deal? Those are pretty under wrap. But we do see conversations with devs that it doesn't always work out. I mean, sometimes you'll hear a dev say, "Wow, this was not for me. I don't think subscriptions are the service." But it's like 50-50, man. I mean, then you'll have those ones that are like, "Whoa, if it wasn't for Game Pass, nobody would have really known about our game, and we made bank off of it." It's hard to tell, and it takes a little bit of negotiation.
Look at High on Life. High on Life isn't people like think to forget that it's made by Swanch Games. It's the first ever game they've made. They are a small indie developer, and they have like absolutely blown up on Game Pass. It was one of the most downloaded games for 2022. So it's stuff like that you go and make a game to rival things like High on Life and Tunic, and boom, you're gonna kill it. You're noticed. People are then sat there thinking like, okay, what are we going to see next from these guys? So,
yeah, and it'll also be interesting. What's the game that we were all surprised that came out like 3 years ago? People Can Fly, or what is that? Who?
Yeah, that's them. That's the ones that. It was. What game was it? Not Sunset Overdrive. It was.
No, it was the
Outer Worlds.
It was. Yeah. And so, we were all kind of surprised that they weren't making a lot of money, but when it came down to it, when you broke down the story, it came down to the publisher not really making a great deal with Xbox, with Microsoft on that title. They made a great deal, it sounds like, for them, but not for the developer. And so as our parent podcast says, video games is a biz, and you got to know that side of things too, not just the other side. And so I'm hoping that these subscription services, not just Game Pass, also PlayStation, Apple Arcade, all these things, they're all negotiating for prices and all that stuff. The more that publishers do this, the more they start to see how to do this. And hopefully we can find a parity for what's fair on both sides. because I think that's most important. And hopefully Microsoft is doing that. Because if they're not, if they're really just like, hey, what's the best deal we can get? Then in the end, in the long term, they're only hurting themselves. Because as Seth says, so that in mind, knowing how negotiations kind of work in a broad sense, I think Dev's opinion on something like Game Pass depends on what side of the fence they fall on. And he's right. And we need to watch out for them so that they want to come back and work with us, work with Microsoft in the next lull. So I think it's interesting.
Yeah, and just to mention Hambone's excuse me, comment of that he'd love to see some kind of stream or out there for indie games. I think we will have another ID at Xbox for the summer showcase.
Yeah, they have ID Xboxes, but they just need to do a better job. They're boring. They're long. They're boring. They need to run them more like a showcase. I don't want a 5-hour drawn out indie stream. Give me a showcase of 45 minutes. Just condense all that down. Let me have a high energy, hyped indie showcase. I don't know what I'm going to call it. And that they need to revamp those. That would be great if they did that. Anything on that before we go to our news bulletin?
No, I'm good.
Me as well.
Just trying not to die here. For whatever reason, I seem to have developed a cough and a runny nose over the last day and a half, and it's killing me.
Don't be getting the cocoa. Don't get it. You already had it. Don't get it again. Don't do it.
No, it's just from being tired and run down.
Yeah, I get that.
I'll live.
Good. Well, that's good. I need you to live. You're kind of important to the show. You're like 50% of it, in case you know.
You'll find another.
For the listeners, to be honest, he's probably more like 66, but, I try not to let him realize that. News bulletins. We're not going to spend much time here. Starfield possibly delayed out of Xbox's first half of 2023. We chatted last week about how we kind of think it should be delayed out of the first half if everything that's dropping this half actually drops. So, but that's a big if. So there's something, there's something. Acquisition Watch, Sean screwing stuff up over there again. Actually, I guess it's not Sean, actually, it's the EU. So I'm sorry, it's just not you anymore.
We're not in that anymore. I keep forgetting we're not part of the EU.
Yeah, I'm sorry, my bad. The EU is preparing a statement of objections for the acquisition. So they're going to shit on it, and then probably, the UK is going to shit on it, and then the FTC is going to shit on it, and we're going to see if Phil can wipe off all the shit and actually get the thing closed sometime before 2024, which likely won't happen.
No.
Anything else about that?
I don't know. It could do a U-turn. I mean, it'd probably pay into Xbox's hands for it to do a U-turn because they've got Call of Duty, they've got the Warzone mobile game coming out at some point in the summertime or beginning of the spring into summer. So they could do with this being wrapped up and actually done, because it could help Xbox's numbers in the mobile market rise if they had fingers in that pie.
They could use with that. That would be. Listen, I know Phil is on like an Xbox community pedestal as it is right now, but if Phil walks in and wraps this thing up by June, I gotta tell you, he's gonna every time he walks, he's just gonna have fireworks shooting off behind him, because that would be freaking amazing. Because this thing looks like it is a dumpster fire rolling downhill right now, and to be able to pick this thing up and wipe it off and put out the fire and make it shiny, wow, that would be one thing to put on your resume. Let me tell you. Because I'm not saying it won't happen. I'm just saying to get it done in that amount of time would be pretty amazing. So there you go. That's the acquisition watch. This week, real soon, in 2 days, it's Persona time. Persona 3 Portable, Persona 4 Golden dropping on Game Pass. And just to be real honest, Sean and I don't care. But we're happy for all of you who do. We really are. We really are.
I should go and try one just to see how little I actually enjoy them. So then when next time we talk about that, I can be like, I have actually tried them and I still don't enjoy them. Because at the moment, I'm just making an assumption I won't enjoy them. So
that's fair. The problem is, Sean, and I thought about this too. I thought, well, maybe I'll like give it a shot. But when I listen to like Zablanc talk on the Dads After Dark podcast, he's like, yeah, I have been playing the game for 40 hours and I'm almost out of the tutorial. And I'm like, no, I'm out. Hard out. Not doing it. No, I'm like, it's one thing to like try a game for a couple hours, but I have a feeling like you're not even gonna be through the introduction. And so it's like, I don't think so. And Seth loves them. He calls them good games. And I don't, I totally am not taking anything away from them. They're just not my cup of tea. I'm very happy, like I said, for all the people who are happy to have them here, on Game Pass. I think it's great. But a game for some odd reason that I am drawn to, that I do want to try, just because I don't know, I just want to try it. Coming out the next day, the 20th, Monster Hunter Rise. And I'm hoping that maybe I can get a couple of people to like, I hear they're convoluted. The menus can be a bit obtuse at first. These are the things I've heard about them. But I don't know. I'm interested in giving it a shot. And so, maybe if we can get a couple of people online, maybe somebody can journey me through a few rounds and I can figure out if I really like it or not. If it's something I want to do. So we'll see.
Yeah, and I think that's it. So there's no news for anything coming next week. There's been nothing new announced so far this week. It's pretty dry. I think we're seeing that dry spell that we normally see before, like a summer showcase or things like that. We're seeing that before the direct. So
you think there's any out now next week?
I'm hoping so. I'm hoping there's going to be some. Hey, look at this. Super shiny. Play it out. Yeah. I'm kind of hoping from that, but
hey, remember in the E3 showcase when we were like, oh yeah, there's going to be a ton of stuff. Drop that day. You wait. There's going to be this and then there wasn't. So, again, can just
they
hold the reins, my friend.
And beat that out of us.
That's right. Hold the reins, my friend. They're telling us what they're telling us, and we need to listen. So yeah, right now, nothing new on Game Pass next week. Games with Gold, sure, sir. Sure,
don't call me Shirley. Autonauts is now available. So that was available from January 16th through to February 15th, which you wanted to pick up. So if you want to do a little bit of a lull while you wait for Monster Hunter Rise, you can play some Autonauts, switch your brain off from all the captaining that you're going to be doing. And
I ought to do that. Sorry. Good answer.
And that's it. I mean, if you want to talk Game Pass headlines in terms of games coming out and moving, it's very dry. So it's a difficult one out there.
I need a cricket sound. That's what I need. I need to put a cricket sound on the Stream Deck, because that's pretty much it. So since that is it, let's roll right into the Xbox Spotlight. Sean, I'm just gonna go first. Get my sad sack of games over with, and then you can take over from there. I've been playing more Scarlet with the kiddos. I do want to say, speaking of graphics, I had the first like really funny thing. I'm running through the desert, or actually no, my son is, and I'm like cutting I'm like making supper in the kitchen. I'm like, Noah, what is like popping up all around you? I was like, you need to try to collect that, or try to like catch those things. They're just popping up all over. And he's like, what are you talking about, Dad? I was like, oh, like all around you, there's like Pokemon just popping up. And he's like, Dad, I have no idea what you're talking about. And then I like come out there, and it's actually like grass and bushes that like don't show up until he's like on top of them. It's really the first like real issue in the game that I've come up with, and it wasn't anything big, and I really don't care. I'm still having a lot of fun with the game, but it was just funny from the kitchen, because he would literally be like right on top of it, and the grass would just be like pop, and it would just like magically show up right in front of him. And I was like, oh, that's some serious popping. All right, and he's like, and he's a kid. He doesn't care either. He's like, I don't care. It doesn't, it looks fine to me. So, but I'm still loving the game. We're still having a great time with it. And it's fun to play with him. And then beyond that, we went back to Minecraft, me and the kids. We've been playing Minecraft. I got them back into survival. They were loving it. They were thinking it's great. Now, if you recall, if you've listened to the show, this is the second survival file we've started, and they're having a lot of fun. And then little Rugrats did the same thing to me again. They're like, "Dad, we don't want to play this anymore. We want to play survival, or we want to play creative." I was like, "I don't want to play creative. No." But now they started their new file and they've built these stupid buildings and gosh, kids love them, but not always. So that's all that's all I've played. That's it for me.
Yeah. Again, very, very sparse for me, Xbox wise. I keep going on every day, see if there's any surprise drops on Game Pass for new things to play. The two things that are currently being released on there, I'm not very keen on. So I've gone back to my old haunt. I'm in Al Mazrah. I'm shooting AI and getting my ass absolutely handed to me by real people in Warzone DMZ. The battle pass for that, if you listen to this and you're interested, the battle pass for that ends in 15 days, so the next season will start. So I'm trying to get through that as much as possible to try and get all the COD points, so I don't have to spend real money on the next one. I think I'm like 200 shy, but I'm currently at 75% of the battle pass. I just keep going in solos, just chipping away at the different missions that they are on there and things like that. I was going to try and do an actual battle royale run before we started podcasting, but I started looking through, trying to build a loadout and things like that, and then kind of delve into the whole. You can like change different aspects of the gun, like you could change the length of the barrel and how fast the bullet flies, and I was like, okay, this is all something I need to go and learn. So I started looking at videos and write-ups on that, and then like by the time that was done, it was time to podcast. So yeah. And then the other game, Mario Rabbids. Last week I said how I'd gone through and rolled credits. Since then I have a 100% of the game. I have done. Everything is done. I have opened every chest. I have collected every coin. I have got every single spark, every memory, everything. It is done.
Good job, man.
All I got was all you get was a nice little message from the creators.
See, they need that. Thanks. They need that pop. They need that achievement pop. That would have made it all worth it.
Yeah. It's been a great in the community. I think there's been some talks about it on the Dads After Dark show and on the Nintendo Dads podcast. It is very different from the original. They haven't done a lot to it. People saying that they've kind of Ubisoft the hell out of the game, which I can understand. Some of the missions are the same. I find that I had to go and change the difficulty to the hardest difficulty and made the AI kind of want to inflict as much damage as possible every single move, just to make it more challenging, because it was kind of getting very repetitive, doing the same thing every single time. But yeah, that's done. Wait for the DLC, which is hopefully going to be back end of this year or beforehand. I think I have it in the Nintendo Dads. What do you call it? Fantasy Critic. There we go. I said it right. So I'm hoping that drops and gets well received. So.
Yeah. I hope it does. I hope it does as well. I don't know what I have first. Dead Space is first for you in our Fantasy Critic, as well. So I don't know.
Yep, that's available. By the way, that's available to pre-order now. Is Dead Space, and you can pre-install Atomic Heart at the moment as well. Nice. For your information.
Nice. Yeah. All right. Do we have a party chat?
We don't have a party chat. I got busy cleaning the house. It happens. I'm playing Warzone and completely forgot to do anything to ask for questions. But we have been going for just over an hour now. We've had plenty of people in the chat, and we made a good few points about all the stuff that we've talked about. It's just forgotten.
They've been so good that they've overwhelmed Sean's mind.
Yeah, it is 12:30. No, it's big. We covered a lot with indie developers and how they sit at Game Pass. We talked about the achievement hunters and how you can crack the system or not crack the system. So yeah, it's been good.
Well, all right then, send us out.
Coolly. So if you we talked about achievement hunters in this. You can still enter now, or you can enter the very last day in January if you wanted to, as long as I can get the information from you about what you've earned for the month. You can do that by adding me, Sean Abbott, as a gamer tag on the Xbox, and then just drop us a message on Twitter or Facebook. Do that, or you can find us on Twitch and YouTube. Everything is at Game Pass News. If you want to ask us a question to answer in the show, or you haven't got any of those social medias and you want to get your Gamerscore to us, you can do so by emailing us at gamepassnewscast@gmail.com. You can review the podcast via your podcasting app, and you can. I'm just reading that last thing that's.
Don't worry, I'll text something to him.
Cool. Okay. So if you are listening to this via a podcast now, please leave us a review, give us some stars, helps us get up there. I think this week we broke into the top 250 in the US. So thank you very much for listening and getting us all the way up there. If you want to access the Discord in which we sit in, you can do by subscribing to our Twitch channel. If you want some cool merch from us, you can do that. Head over to redbubble.com. Look for us there, Game Pass News. You can buy t-shirts, etc., all the stuff that you can usually find on Redbubble you can get. Thanks very much to Horror Accolade for your first time in the live chat, and to Seth, Mr. $2 Hero, and the Hambone Johnny for jumping in there this week. And thank you very much to Rowan Chevy for your question there about everything at the end, which kind of stumped me. And until next time, guys, we shall see you later.